I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. So the experiences that kind of influenced me is, like, I never really felt safe in school, never really felt valued in school, never felt, like I belonged in school. Um, and I think one of the reasons, well, I know one of the reasons why I do leadership on campus and why I do community building in my classrooms is because I was that shy kid that nobody talked to. And, like, I was that kid that was left out when there was groups, and I was the one proverbially picked last. And so it is my mission to make sure that those people feel included. So anytime we do any kind of like activity and people are sharing, like, I watch to see who isn't being included, and I make sure that they're included. It's essential for me that everybody feels involved. And I know that not everybody wants to be involved, or they kind of act sometimes they don't want to be involved, but ultimately we all appreciate people caring about us and talking to us.
William Blair has messy curly hair, a growing beard because he has no time to shave, and wears dark-rimmed glasses. Whenever you see him around Mountain View High School, he will have a pen behind his ear so he can take impromptu notes. Because of his compulsive need to take notes, Blair's handwriting has become terrible, for he does not have enough time for neat notes. Mr. Blair fosters the growth of leaders by creating an inclusive and accepting community at Mountain View High School. Through ASB, the Associated Student Body, and leadership, he has made MVHS a warmer and happier place. Most students' first impression of Blair comes from freshman orientation. As freshmen arrive at Mountain View High School, they all gather in the big gym, where they get their name tags and sit in the bleachers. Once everyone is seated, Blair grabs the mic and welcomes everyone. He greets everyone with a big smile and an inspiring speech, giving advice for the years to come. High school is like a $100 bill. You can waste this time and tear up the $100 bill, or you can take advantage of the opportunity you have been given and save the money, explains Blair. Then he takes out a crisp $100 bill, waves it in the air, and asks the freshman if he should tear it. The majority of the freshmen say no, but there are always some that say yes. Blair chuckles and says, "Why would I waste my high school career?" After Blair puts his unripped, crisp bill back in his pocket, all of the freshmen disperse to meet with their pod leaders. These pod leaders are upperclassmen who have been training with Blair for days. They lead team-building games and share what high school has been like for them. The team-building directory states that team-building programs provide realistic experiences that empower individuals to contribute to common goals. The success of most organizations depends on the ability of individuals to build effective teams. Blair has planned freshman orientation perfectly. He makes sure that pod leaders are ready to provide realistic experiences and build a team in their group of freshmen. This process allows freshmen to make new friends in their class, learn how to problem solve, and understand high school better. With the father in the military, Blair moved around a lot as a kid and had a hard time making friends, even though he really wanted to. He wanted to make friends so much that he bought books on how to make friends, but he still had no luck. Blair recalls,
I remember one school that I transferred into halfway through the year, and I was the new kid. And the new kid, everybody's like, oh, it's a new kid in middle school, and everybody knows who you are. But, like, right away, I didn't fit in, even though I was a new kid, so I was kind of, like, popular because I was new, right? And then when people realized that they didn't really like me, it became like, okay, let's, like, play with the new kid, So they do things like send me, like, the Valentine's Day things from somebody, and then the person wouldn't know about it, and then they would say, like, we're just faking, and, like, that kind of stuff. Or, like, I remember I went to, like, one middle school dance. Oh, that's so cute. I went to one middle school dance. No, I went to a party, and it was at somebody's house, and it was dancing. And so, like, I was just kind of standing off by myself all night, and I saw they kept, like, pointing to me and kind of laughing. And then this one girl's like, hey, do you want to dance? And I was like, sure. And I went to dance with her. And then they, those popping things that you shoot and it explodes, like little poof, pow. And so then they, like all kind of ran up and, like, popped them all in the back of my head. She was laughing because she knew what was going on. And just, like, things like that, like, happen more often than I'd like. Like, now I support kids and create a safe place for kids because those things happen.
According to Ambassadors for Kids Club, 1 out of every 4 kids is bullied. 4 out of 10 children will drop out of school this year because they are being bullied at school. 77% of students are bullied mentally, verbally, and physically. Bullying has become very common in school. This should be taken very seriously since there are many long-lasting effects of bullying. Kids who have been bullied have a higher risk of depression and anxiety. Bullying can also lead to low self-esteem, hopelessness, and isolation. Victims of bullying also have increased thoughts about suicide that may carry on into adulthood. In one study, adults who recalled being bullied in the youth were 3 times more likely to have suicidal thoughts or inclinations. Through his childhood experiences, Blair has devoted his career as a teacher to stop bullying. He says,
if I'm the adult in the room and somebody's being picked on, it's like my moral obligation to step in, and so I do. Like there cannot be people feeling belittled or made fun of or bullied under my watch because it's my fault.
As a high school student, Blair never thought he would become the ASB advisor. He said that at his high school,
I didn't feel like I belonged in that group, the ASB group, and I didn't really like that group. I felt like they were very unaware of people that were suffering. And they were very unaware of what kind of the vibe that they create. And so I wanted to be involved in leadership to create a more open and welcoming vibe. So I didn't want to do it when I was in high school. I never would have done it when I was in high school.
Blair wants to create ASB and leadership with a more open and inclusive vibe.
So we've made a lot of steps into the positive direction. And I think if you look at Mountain View over the course of the last 4 years, we've gotten leaps and bounds better. But are we there? No way. I think we're still miles away, you know. I'd say it a little bit like this. For the first time ever at Mountain View High School, they did a wave in the rally. And there was somebody who was real influential in making that happen, and it wasn't me. But I think that everything that we've done those last 4 years have set, like we're taking a step up each stair each year, and I think we're getting closer to a sense of inclusion and closer to a sense of celebration and validation and support, you know? But we're definitely not there.
Blair wants to keep getting closer to the sense of inclusion in the future. He explains,
I never want to stop being a teacher. Like, I always want to be in the classroom. But I think over the course of the last couple of years, I started having this thought that whenever I teach in a classroom, I can have an effect, profound for some, not profound for others, on those 35 students in my room. And they then will have an effect on their friends and their families. You know, so I see that there's an opportunity to foster inclusiveness and love and goodness in the world that way. But I'm thinking more in the future maybe that there's ways to teach teachers how to create that in their classrooms. And if I can take a classroom of 35 teachers and teach them how to add goodness and love and empathy and leadership skills, and then they bring that to the 35 different classrooms, that there's a potential for, I don't know, like more goodness exponentially. You know, so I'm intrigued by that idea of maybe being able to not maybe be a principal, but maybe an assistant principal, you know.
Through his strive for inclusion and acceptance of everyone, Blair has become a super Spartan at Mountain View High School. Because of his involvement in every school activity, he has helped many more students feel accepted and welcomed at Mountain View High School. Blair exclaims,
If there's even one student who doesn't feel included and doesn't feel like they belong, we failed.